Girl, not Philly versus Bed-Stuy at the Oscars. Not Will Smith pimp smacking the crap out of Chris Rock, yo, at the Oscars. And from the most unlikely person that we would have thought that this would have ever been done by, Will Smith. Oh no, I guess Will Smith said he tired, y'all. He tired of y'all talking about him and his entanglements. He's tired of y'all messing with his wife. He's tired of y'all picking on his family. He's tired of y'all clowning him. And I guess Will Smith showed another side to him, because I think he tired and I think he done. I think y'all done pushed him to the edge. Y'all, this is an absolute mess and a half. It's an absolute mess and a half. But what's going on, everybody? What's up? What's good? And what's poppington? It is your girl, True Mystique, aka the Golden Enigma, aka the Real. And welcome back to another episode of Free Your Mind. Y'all, I am so sorry for the delay. I am so sorry for the brief hiatus. It was my birthday a couple of weeks ago, so I was celebrating that for a couple of weeks. And then I got sick. I still kind of am sick, but I'm trying to will myself, back to health and will myself, to be better. So I was just like, this joint just happened and I can't believe it, but let me talk about this child. Bug man, this happened, girl. Such a mess, such a mess. I guess they figured because nobody was watching the Oscars, they needed to do a little spark, to get people talking, get people rioting and whatnot. And child, Will Smith definitely divided the internet. You got half of the people that's saying he did what he was supposed to do by protecting his wife and Chris Rock was wrong. And the other half of society talking about Will Smith was completely out of line and completely out of pocket. And I know y'all clicked on this video expecting an opinion out of me. And I'm going to give you that opinion. However, I'm not going to give the opinion like y'all think. I want to bring a different perspective to you all, outside of the dichotomy of who's right or who's wrong, either Team Chris or Team Will. Now, let me tell you whose team I'm on. I am really kind of team neither. What? What the? I know y'all looking at me like, what? What do you mean? You team neither. You not Team Chris, but you not Team Will either. Kinda, yeah. I see everybody choosing a side. Everybody, like I said, either choosing Team Chris for being professional or Team Will for doing what he had to do to defend his woman and for checking Chris Rock for disrespecting black women. And I get it. I get it. I get it. We have a situation where it's easy to pick sides. It's easy to take our feelings about, particular things that we got going on in our lives. And it's easy to use that as a basis on whose side to choose, whose side is right and whose side is wrong. Now, I have a lot of opinions that I can say on this topic, but I don't think I'm going to. I wouldn't be me if I didn't think outside the box. I wouldn't be me if I just decided to go with the status quo and I just decided to do what everybody else is doing. Because it's just the easy option. And I could, but I'm not. But before y'all click off, I think that y'all can benefit from listening to this perspective because this channel is called Free Your Mind, right? So I want you to free your mind from the ways that we have been taught to think and how we have been taught that we should react to this situation. So if you're open to listening to this new perspective, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and press that bell button so that you can be notified whenever I drop a new video. Alright, so we got two people, we got two sides of the fence, right? We got Team Will and we got Team Chris. Whose side are you on? Well, what if I told you that you don't have to pick sides? What if I told you that even if two options are presented in your face, you don't have to pick either one? What if I told you that even in a choice that you make, right, you could see that there is right and there is wrong in the choice that you make? What if I told you that even in aligning yourself with a person because you feel that they did the right thing, they could have also done the wrong thing for the right reasons? What if I told you that we don't always have to take things to the extremes? What if I told you that neutrality is also an option? And what if I told you that sometimes things are intentionally created and orchestrated just to elicit a response out of you? And what if I told you that you didn't always have to respond, especially if things do not affect you directly? And finally, what if I told you that sometimes responding to things that are curated and constructed to elicit an emotion out of you is a way for people to control you? What if in all of this proved to the world, right, that things like this, that is so easy to get triggered by, and it's so easy to elicit a response out of people, was a means to control people? I just need y'all to sit on them things for a minute. Just sit on it. Just sit on it, marinate in it, and meditate on it, right? Because this is very important. I know over in the BWE section over here, one of the main subsectors in this sector is the divestment movement. We talk about a lot that is wrong within the Black community, how the Black community and certain aspects of the Black community can be completely stifling, trifling, and harmful and dangerous to the mentality, the physical safety, and the well-being of Black girls and Black women. So in response to that, the divestment movement was born and created. Completely understandable. We completely get that, and we completely know that there is a need for it. And I will agree that there is a need for it. However, if we're going to talk about divestment, we need to talk about divestment not just in terms of relationships, right? If we're going to talk about divestment, we need to divest from everything that is harmful to us. We need to divest ourselves from any and everything that does not serve our higher good and our higher purpose. If it doesn't add anything positive or beneficial to our lives, we need to divest from it entirely. And that includes emotional divestment. What is emotional divestment? Emotional divestment is divesting ourselves from toxic emotions, divesting ourselves and our energy from things that will intentionally trigger or elicit reactions from us that are harmful. Because even within the divestment movement, I still see some people negatively reacting to things and some things that people say that are intentionally created to elicit a negative reaction out of us. And I'm going to tell you why that's important in a minute. We care way too much about things that other people do that have nothing to do with us personally. And not only do we care too much about things that have nothing to do with us personally, we take it to the absolute extreme. Like, why is it that we can't have, and I'm talking not just like that divestment movement or BWE or even the Black community, why can't we as people ever have balanced conversations anymore? Why don't people like to have nuanced conversations anymore? Why do people either have to go from one extreme to the completely opposite extreme? Why can't we see things for what they are? Why can't we see the truth or the lies in both sides? Why can't we see that sometimes good people have very flawed ideas? And why can't we see that sometimes we can learn things from quote unquote bad people? Like, sometimes we want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but even in things that we don't like and people that we don't like and people that put pretty effed up ideals, there are things that we can learn from. And people who we think push pretty good ideals or wholesome ideals, sometimes their mode of thinking is just wrong and flawed. Two things can be true at once. Two things can be false at once. Two options can be good options, and two options can be bad options. And it's okay to state that. It's okay to acknowledge that. We don't always have to pick one or the other. We don't. And like I said, when we go too far into extremes, that is not healthy. It seems like we're shifting from one form of groupthink to another form of groupthink, and it's not healthy. We like to be emotionally attached and way too emotionally attached to things that are not healthy for us. They cause us stress and they cause us a lot of internal damage that we don't need. And we need to detach and divest ourselves from those emotions and from the people who are causing those emotions. I think that because a lot of us are very ego driven, whether we like to agree with it or not, we want to rock with people just because they say things that we like to hear. And the minute that they say something that we don't like, we're quick to dissociate. We're quick to react in anger. We're quick to say, oh, I'm unsubscribing. I don't like this. You're not stroking my ego anymore. I'm unsubscribing. Like, what? Just because I said one thing that you didn't like, but you liked the million things that I said that you did like, and you was rocking with me throughout the million things that I said that you did like, but the one time I said something that you didn't agree with, that you didn't align with, you're in your feelings and now you want to distance yourself from me. Do you not see how toxic that level of thinking is? We need to divest ourselves from that. That's completely toxic. I think we have to come to the point that we have to see that sometimes we see too much of ourselves in other people, and we give other people way too much power over our emotions. And because we give people too much weight and too much power over our emotions, it's kind of like they have control over us. And one thing that you do not want to do is you do not want to relinquish your power, your autonomy, your agency to somebody else. If somebody else has that power to control you, to control your emotions, to manipulate you, and to elicit certain emotions out of you, that's a problem. That's a major problem. And that's something that I'm seeing in the social media realm that I just do not like. And that is very dangerous. It's very dangerous because it can create a type of cult-like thinking. That's not good to anybody. Because that cult-like thinking can manifest itself into the real world. And if it manifests itself into the real world, it's going to have a lot of unintended consequences. And this is how extremists are formed. We could look throughout history and see how extremism on any side is not a good thing. We need to be balanced and we need to be centered within ourselves, which includes decentering ourselves and detaching ourselves from other people and the emotions of other people. Let's take Jada and Will Smith's marriage, for example, because a lot of y'all like to project y'all feelings onto their marriage, and I think it's just absolutely disgusting. And this is part of the reason why I think Will Smith snapped. Like I said, I'm pretty sure Will Smith is tired of all of y'all folks meddling into his marriage, picking apart every little piece and facet of him and Jada's marriage. Okay? Like I said, projecting y'all own personal feelings onto these people's marriages whom y'all don't even know and they don't know you. Y'all keep talking about, oh, Jada is embarrassing Will, and Will don't need to project Jada because Jada is a whore, and Jada is this, and Jada is that, and Jada is reckless. Number one, can I just say that y'all don't like Jada because that is a free black woman, and y'all don't like the fact that free black women have autonomy and agency over their body, and they have to seek to control women, but that's neither here nor there. Y'all not ready for that conversation. It's the misogyny for me, and I ain't with it. It's the double standards for me because Will Smith has also done his dirt, but I don't hear y'all talking about his dirt. But anywho, I see a lot of projection into their marriage. They have stated publicly they are in an open relationship. But I see people talking about August Alsina and how Jada was wrong with August. They are in an open marriage and open relationship. Why would Will Smith smack August if they both agreed to the stipulations of their relationship? Those are two grown-ass, consenting, married adults that chose the parameters of their relationship to suit them. Not y'all nosy asses. Them. They decided that they wasn't going to leave each other. They decided that whatever they were going through, they were going to work it out together. That's them. But y'all nosy behinds telling Will Smith, oh, Jada doesn't deserve him. Jada is this and Jada is that. Number one, who the hell are you to tell somebody what they do and do not deserve? How dare you? Number two, how dare you insert your beliefs and your opinions on other people's marriages that ain't got nothing to do with you? Okay? Just because you don't like something about somebody's relationship, just because you think their relationship is odd, mind your business. It has nothing to do with you. These people also are in a different tax bracket than you. And people who have a different tax bracket than you tend to move differently than you. That's just the reality of the realism of what is really going on in this world. People who have a higher tax bracket, they move funny. And they move completely different than the average lay person. They do. So you're not going to understand the things that they do. They into weird stuff. But like I said, they're grown and consenting adults. But I see way too many people, especially men, projecting their feelings onto them, and ain't nobody ask you. Y'all need to mind y'all business and y'all need to leave people alone. And to be quite honest, a lot of y'all that are projecting y'all feelings onto the Smiths and always have something to say about their marriage, y'all got a lot of worse stuff going on in y'all lives. Instead of worrying about somebody else's marriage and what other people decide to do in their marriage that work for them, wonder why your wife is leaving you. Wonder why your wife don't want you no more. Wonder why your husband is cheating on you. Wonder why you don't have a man or you don't have a woman before you concern yourself with the dealings of other people. You know, it's always somebody that have nothing going on in their lives, or it's always somebody that has worse things going on with their lives, always preoccupied with what somebody else is doing. I'm just saying. Like, I personally had to tell people in my life that, like, if it has nothing to do with you, mind your business. If they like it, they like it. If they cool with it, they cool with it. Just because you don't like it or you don't agree with something, okay, that's your business. Mind your business. It's not you. You do what you want in your relationships. Let them people deal with their relationships how they deal with it. They wouldn't have been married this long if they didn't. They wouldn't have been married this long if they didn't set the parameters for their relationship and how it suits them. Like I said, attaching yourself to other people and other people's lives in this manner is completely unhealthy. You don't know them people, and them people don't know you. Maybe if you focused on fixing your life, your lives wouldn't be so miserable. Maybe if you focused on fixing your life would be a lot better and you'd probably be a lot farther. I'm just saying. No disrespect. But focus on your own healing. Focus on building yourself up. And if you do that, you won't have time to be focused on what everybody else is doing. You feel me? But I think this has to be said. Like, I think this, particularly in celebrity culture, is incredibly toxic. Being emotionally invested by somebody else to the point where whatever they do seriously impacts you when it has nothing to do with you, yeah, I think that's a problem. And when I say that that's a problem, I feel like it's a problem for me too, because getting caught up in this YouTube stuff, I notice my mindset starting to shift. My mindset starting to differ. And I realized that I was getting sucked up into stuff that I really shouldn't have been. And it was affecting my mind and my personality. But then I had to think to myself, and then I had to realize I had to reel it back in. Because I was going to come up on here and this whole Will and Chris Rock conversation would have went a lot differently. But then I had to realize I had to bring it back to myself. And then I had to bring it back to the nature of this channel, which is called Freeing Your Mind. And it wouldn't be freeing your mind if we're just regurgitating everything that everybody else is saying. You feel me? You can listen to what other people are saying. You can pull inspiration and you can pull ideas and thought processes from other people. But at the end of the day, you need to have your own mindset, your own opinion, and you need to move to the beat of your own drum. Come up with your own conclusions, not the conclusions of everybody else. And when I talk about freeing the mind, I also mean freeing the mind from linear thinking and freeing the mind from toxic emotions of others or extreme emotions of others that have the ability to control us. And even if the person spewing an emotion is not a toxic person in and of itself, the extreme emotions that people have that we may resonate with because it resonates with something within us have the ability to influence us in a way that it normally wouldn't. And like I said, that's an ego thing. And we have to detach ourselves from our own egos as well. All in all, I'm going to wrap it up by saying this. Sometimes the best course of action to take is no action. And sometimes the best choice that you can make is on yourself. And sometimes choosing yourself means not choosing the options that are directly presented in front of you. You can go a different way. I don't think people really understand that a lot of us are really under the illusion of choice. There is such a thing as an illusion of choice, and we make it every single day. What is the illusion of choice? The illusion of choice is when you have two or maybe more things that are put in front of you, and you believe that the options that are placed in front of you are the only options that you have to choose from. When in reality, there are other choices that you can make. There are other options you can choose. There are other avenues in which you can take to get to your end result. Because to be quite honest, sometimes the options that are placed in front of you, neither one of them are good options. We do not have to make a choice if it doesn't directly serve us. We don't have to make a choice if any of the options that are presented in front of us don't benefit us directly, especially if either option has absolutely nothing to do with us. If we do that, we are allowing other people to control us. And nobody, I mean absolutely nobody outside of yourself should be controlling you. Think about that the next time something like this pops off and you feel like you have to make a choice and you feel like you are on one side or the other. Don't be emotionally invested and emotionally tied to something that does not benefit you. Do not let it rile you up and disturb your internal peace. Unless you feel like your life is going to be in physical danger by the things that people say, don't take them so seriously. If it's just people popping junk and it's something that you don't like, you could always tune them out. You don't have to allow for people to control your emotions in that way. It's not healthy. And this is another thing. And if we're going to quote unquote divest, we need to divest from it all. Thanks for tuning in to the Free Your Mind podcast, where when you free your mind, the rest will flow. It's your girl, True Mystique. And until next time, my beautiful people, I'll see you later.